Hi, my name is Mark Walker. I'm the editorial director at the FinTech Times, and we're here at Money 2020 Middle East here in Riyadh. So I'm going to start off by asking my interviewees to introduce themselves to you, the audience.
Thank you for having me. My name is Rinat Ablet, Chief Revenue Officer at Tiqmo. We're a B2C digital wallet.
I'm Mohammed Nana, better known as Mo. I look after the digital partnerships business across Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Africa for Mastercard.
Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us today, and having you both here is a real delight for us. Maybe just going to start off, first of all, thinking a little bit about Mastercard. And obviously we're in Saudi, so we can't start an interview without talking about Saudi's Vision 2030. And it's obviously something that Mastercard have aligned themselves to. What is the rationale behind doing that, and what are you doing to align with the goals of the kingdom?
Thanks for that. I think if you look at Saudi Arabia, it's really becoming it's set itself as a transformative economic powerhouse, and pretty much driven by Vision 2030, which is set to give everybody a chance and for the whole economy to prosper. Now, Vision 2030 has three main pillars. The first one is focused on innovation and really getting the economy to be innovative, getting the market to be innovative in all areas of the market. The third one is digital transformation, and digital transformation is about really migrating, in our world at least, from a cashless, from a cash-heavy world to a cashless world, and really driving that digital footprint across the ecosystem. And the last piece is obviously very focused around economic diversification. Now, what this means is that it really goes hand in hand with Mastercard's mission. And Mastercard's mission is very, very simple. We want to empower people and, most importantly, power economies. And in doing so, using our 50 years of trust, our 50 years of a secure, scalable network, and bringing that network into Saudi Arabia by, for example, this year, or should I say last year, we put down specifically in Saudi Arabia our Mastercard gateway, where it's now on soil. So what that means is that from a merchant perspective, in line with the regulation from SAMA, we are able to ensure that from a regulation perspective, all transactions that take place within Saudi Arabia are on soil based on the infrastructure that we have put down. So that's a very, very important step for us, and it was an investment that we made as part of Vision 2030. And that's obviously seamless to the customer, most importantly, right? I think the second piece is, from a Mastercard point of view, we took a pledge in 2020 that within the next 5 years, we want to bring 1 billion new people into the digital and financial ecosystem. I can tell you, today we're sitting at around 980 million new consumers. That's consumers that have been previously unbanked. That's consumers that had no access to the formal, the formal financial world. That's consumers who had no access to the digital world from a financial services perspective. Like I said, we're currently at around 980 million consumers, and I'm very confident that by end of this year, we will achieve that 1 billion mark. So the point I want to make there is that from a Mastercard point of view, we have experience, we have the knowledge in terms of financial inclusion, in terms of innovation, and most importantly, powering domestic networks.
We're going to come back to talk a little bit more in detail about some of those things as well. But I also wanted to ask you, maybe give us a little bit of a background on the company, sort of a little bit of history, what you're doing and what you're offering here in the kingdom. And then we're going to talk about the partnership.
Absolutely. So we built a digital wallet directly facing consumers, launched in 2024 last year, around January. So what we wanted to do is create somewhat of a financial super app ecosystem where we can help people with their daily spend. And Saudi is a very diverse consumer base, where you have the local Saudi population, got expats from all over the world coming here, working, sending money back home, and so on. So we currently serve about 2.5 million users. Growth has been extremely fast. We're still building, product building on a day-to-day basis. We're a non-bank, non-telco-led digital wallet, so it kind of gives us that agility to be, a bit more of an entrepreneurial mindset when it comes to building product and focusing on what we're doing. And from day one, we had the partnership with Mastercard. And it was an idea for us. I mean, it was a presentation trying to convince Mastercard, hey, believe in our idea. We think we have something here. We think we can do something. And I don't think even Mastercard knew really what was coming. And then with that initial journey, we kind of started, understanding where we are positioned, how Mastercard can support us, how can we serve the customers in Saudi Arabia better.
And I think that's kind of an interesting point to talk sort of partnership, because obviously it's Mastercard offering financial products effectively to a non-financial organization. And that's part of what you were just talking about with your technology offering. Is that something that Mastercard has gone out of its way to try and bring to the kingdom to enable more solutions to get going using your regulatory support?
Absolutely. So, a few years ago as well, we decided to morph away from this monoline business where we were focused primarily on banks, and to move into a multi-segmented business. And by multi-segment, I speak about fintechs, telcos, digital partners, like, your digital giants that are out there, Apple, Google, and so on, that are really delving into the financial services ecosystem. And we took that bet, and here we are. Obviously, it's paid off. And it's paying off on a day-to-day basis, because we firmly believe that financial services, the reach in terms of getting financial inclusion and financial independence, goes beyond banks. It's players like fintechs, it's players like telcos who have that reach that can give us access to the end consumer.
Yeah.
So what we did was we made our assets and our products and services available to non-banks, and it's been such a blessing. It's been such a privilege driving that business for Mastercard, because you get to meet innovative players like Tiqmo who go beyond the boundaries, in line with obviously regulation and delivering towards those consumers.
Well, I was going to say, and that obviously brings to the partnership side of things. Obviously, without having to worry too much about the regulation, because you have such a strong partner with that, you can focus on your wallet, functionality within your wallet, and bring in the right user experience to your customers, can't you?
Yeah, and it's a mixture as well. I mean, I think what Saudi does well is the regulator is very present. As a licensed entity, they give you a very strong foundation of making sure that your cybersecurity, compliance, risk, and AML elements are there. And once that is set up, that's where we get to kind of be on top to innovate, to see how we can serve customers better. And I think that growth mindset, we're here in the kingdom trying to innovate, to grow, and to do better for the customer. So is Mastercard. So I think we share that same vision. This is why it works.
I was going to say, one of the things that the partnership that you guys has been sort of pushed forward as one of the shining lights of examples of how to do it in the region. Do you think it's that shared mission? And do you think what other factors were involved in having a positive partnership?
It's the basics first, right? It's that shared mission. I think the people in the organization as well, like with Mo, the excitement that we both get, when we know what we can do in terms of innovation, in terms of the next 5 years of what this industry is going to look like, and that gets executed, right? I think that's number one. The shared mission as organizations individually, and then also the shared mission in terms of what we see the future of the kingdom looks like as well.
That's a really good point to come on to my getting towards the end of the questions, is what is the future of Saudi Arabia? So maybe from Mastercard's perspective, what are you looking to achieve within the kingdom in the next sort of 2 to 3 years?
We're just starting, right? So I spoke about our gateway that's on soil. Just recently, as part of the cyber resilience program, Mastercard has invested in terms of enabling our cybersecurity solutions specifically within Saudi Arabia. And from a Mastercard point of view, many still view us as a card business. The reality of the situation is we're a payment network, we're a money mover, right? And our focus is very much around ensuring that we are able to bring Saudi Arabia to the world and take Saudi Arabia to the rest of the world. And that's our core focus. And in working closely with the regulator, in working closely with fintechs, banks, telcos, we firmly believe that our 50-year-odd payment network can provide meaningful solutions towards these players that can really take us to the next level. The world today, I mean, at this specific event, everyone's speaking about stable coins. Mastercard is a trusted network. Stable coins can accept stable coins, on our network to ensure that the settlement is there, it's secure, it's safe. The second piece is AI. Everyone's talking about AI. Mastercard's been doing AI for a number of years right now. We process close to 150 billion transactions annually. Every single one of those transactions go through our risk, our AI risk program, which is able to obviously understand whether a transaction is dodgy. Excuse the, whether it's dodgy or whether it's actually a real transaction. And we've been doing that for years. The world is moving towards an agentic commerce, type situation. I mean, imagine how we're going to partner on this, where Rinat is traveling to a certain market or a certain country, and his agent is telling him, Rinat, we know you like Italian food. I don't know if you do like Italian food, but we know you like Italian food. Can I book you at this specific restaurant, for a meal? You have meetings. Can I book your Ubers and so on? So the world is moving towards that space. And I think Mastercard is ready to adopt and work with partners like this to embrace that specific world.
And I think maybe on your side, I did wonder how long it would get into the conversation before stablecoins or AI got dropped in there. I was holding off myself, to be honest, but you stepped it up. Obviously, from a mobile wallet point of view, those two items are going to be heavily on your agenda, I'd imagine. What's your take on the next sort of even 1 year of how this is going to affect your current offering?
No, so I think it's more, for us from a back-end perspective, we see the role of AI in terms of optimizing our operations, specifically around fraud. Like you said, we process, millions of transactions on a very short time basis. And how do we optimize the fraud element, AML, and so on? Right now, some of that is done manually. So there is a huge role for AI to come in and optimize that area. And then on customer support as well. I mean, the solutions that you see these days in the market, even with you guys, it's almost, you can't tell the difference. If an AI calls you with an outbound call, perfect dialect, perfect speed, you can't tell if it's a real person. So that as well to optimize our customer support elements. And obviously stablecoin is a big topic. So we do a lot of cross-border remittance transactions. So these are hardworking expats that live in Saudi that want to send money back home. This is to India, to Pakistan, to Bangladesh, and so on and so forth. I don't think the demand for them currently is to send a stable coin, but the demand is for us as an organization to do the settlement to our partners down the line. That efficiency is definitely required, but the infrastructure has to be established first. And I know it's definitely going to be coming. I understand the central bank is also working on innovations.
Right? It's quite interesting. At the Money 2020 Europe event back in June, I hosted a panel which was titled Stablecoins, the Dream versus the Reality. And it was very much exactly as you were sort of saying, is that very much for settlement, international settlement, it's a great concept, a great idea, but we're a bit of a way away from using it as an actual payment token in some way. Yeah. So I think that's kind of interesting. My final question on your side of things was, obviously not to your competitors, but to other non-financial technology providers in the kingdom. What would you recommend as the best way to start your relationship with Mastercard?
The good thing is Mastercard is ready to talk to anyone.
Yes.
Right? That's the good thing. So don't be afraid. It's a big brand, but Mo's, I think his number's out in public, so maybe you can call him.
It certainly feels like that these days.
So that's the first step. But then before you enter a market like Saudi or any of the regional countries, figure out exactly what kind of value you add to the market.
And Mo, from your point of view, do you want to read out your mobile number for people to get in contact?
I won't read out my mobile number. But I think, from a Mastercard point of view, and I just want to go back to, because you spoke about the future, the Vision 2030 would like 70% of transactions in the kingdom to be done digitally. From a Mastercard perspective, by 2030, we want to ensure that all our transactions are tokenized. So that's again another shared vision, and we're looking for partners to help us get to that shared vision. So I think that's the first thing. The second thing is from a Mastercard point of view, like we've partnered with Tiqmo and so many other fintech partners that you see here today at Money 2020, we have various means of reaching us. We have the Mastercard Developers Platform, which is an API-first platform. So if you're a fintech looking for any solution, get to an API or get to the Mastercard Developers Platform, absorb or consume one of our APIs, and you have our tools almost instantly. The second piece is we have our Start Path, Fintech Express, as well as many other programs like Mastercard Engage that fintechs can go on, read about, apply, and become a member, within the Mastercard network. So I think the point I want to make here is that we're open for business.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me here at the FinTech Times.
Thank you.
Thank you.